Today on Stock Charts in Focus, we're taking you on a tour of all the different ways around the site to see multiple charts at once up on the screen. That means we're taking a tour of CandleGlance, GalleryView. We're going to look at individual sharp charts, how to load multiple symbols onto one sharp chart. And of course, we're going to jump over to ACP, our interactive advanced charting platform. Look at the multi-chart layout features over there. Going to compare, going to contrast sharp charts versus ACP. You are going to see a ton all around stock charts on today's show. Of course, you know what it is. It's all new. It's all here. It's Stock Charts in Focus. All right, my friends, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me here on Stock Charts in Focus. Of course, our product focus show on StockCharts TV, where we dig into the site, dive into the features, show you around the tools, and ultimately help you get more value out of stock charts. That's our mission here on Stock Charts in Focus every Friday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the channel, also up on our YouTube channel after that, and the StockCharts TV on-demand platform available across all your devices and at StockChartsTV.com. My name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts. So good to be with you for what I think is going to be a fantastic episode. We've got a great one lined up for you today. We're going to do some comparing and some contrasting of sharp charts versus ACP. We're going to tour you around all the different ways around the site to look at multiple charts at once, multiple symbols on the screen up at one time, multiple charts up on the screen at one time. And it's going to be a great opportunity to compare these two different worlds. Sharp charts, of course, our original charting tool, award-winning that we are known and loved for, but also ACP, our interactive advanced charting platform. Lots of powerful features available in that new platform. Lots that you can do with the multi-chart layouts, up to 12 charts on the screen at once. So we're going to run through a ton. Going to be a fast-paced show today. That's for sure, a whirlwind tour of a whole bunch of these features. And we have done specific episodes on a lot of these different things. So CandleGlance, GalleryView, some of the different sharp charts features, ACP layouts. We've had specific episodes of the show in the past devoted to each one of those. Today, we're going to really kind of fly through them and compare them, give you a sense of all that you can do. So we will put links in the description down below to some of the previous episodes that we've done if you're watching this up on YouTube. But this is going to be a great opportunity to really see a whole bunch around the site. So lots to cover. Let's get right to it. So we are starting here on our charts and tools page. Of course, you can access this in the top left corner of any page around the site. A great directory of everything that is available on stock charts, all the tools and features that you have available to you really in one place. And you can read these little descriptions of each tool, each feature, all of that. This is a great place to start, though, because it's going to show you kind of what we're going to cover today. So we are going to talk about sharp charts. We're going to actually jump over there, show you how to create advanced sharp charts with multiple charts in a single chart. A little bit of chartception there. We're going to show you how to create these very, very powerful multi-chart views, though, in sharp charts all in one. We're also going to jump over to ACP, like I mentioned, and show you how the multi-chart layout features work over there. Before we do that, though, we're actually going to cover two sharp charts related tools that kind of stand on their own. They are built around sharp charts, but they're also concepts that you're going to be able to bring into ACP. So, of course, we're talking about GalleryView, which allows you to view multiple charts at once for a single symbol in different time frames, daily, weekly, intraday, PNF charts, even in that GalleryView tool. So we're going to take a look at that. We're also going to jump over to CandleGlance, which allows you to view up to 12 mini charts on the screen at once to get sort of a quick view of a whole bunch of different symbols. So those are sharp charts tools, but we can actually bring them into ACP, which we're going to cover in just a little bit. So we're going to start actually with the GalleryView tool. We're going to jump right over there, show you how that works. Of course, one of the most powerful sharp charts tools that allows you to take a single symbol, for instance, let's do Adobe, and actually view this in multiple time frames all up on the screen. So GalleryView, you're taking one symbol, you're looking at that in a couple of different views. You've got your intraday view up top. In this case, I've actually customized all of these charts, so they might look a little bit different from yours. We'll cover that in just a sec. But we've got our intraday view up top. This is a 45-day, 1-minute chart for me. Below that, we've got the daily view. In this case, a 16-month daily chart. I've got that up on the screen here. And then down below, we've got our weekly chart, a multi-year weekly view. Below that, we also have a point and figure view. And what you can see is that all of these charts are for Adobe. So using the gallery view tool, we can pull up a single symbol in multiple time frames, see multiple charts up on the screen at once, and really start to compare, how does Adobe look on the intraday view versus how does it look on the daily view versus how does it look on the weekly view, and even down into the PNF view if PNF charts are for you. Now, all of these charts can be customized here. Your gallery view charts can actually be customized by saving specific SharpCharts chart styles with specific names: Gallery Daily, Gallery Weekly, and Gallery Intraday. We've actually got a little note up here at the top of the page that shows you a little bit more information on that. So you can always open that up. That gives you some quick instructions on how to actually customize these gallery view charts. So our first stop on today's whirlwind tour is actually this gallery view page, which allows you to view, again, a single symbol, but in multiple time frames, multiple charts up on the screen. Now we're going to jump back to the Charts and Tools page, and we're going to head over to CandleGlance. CandleGlance is similar in the sense you have multiple sharp charts up on the screen at once, but in the CandleGlance view, what you have are different symbols with little mini charts to help you sort of breeze through a big list. Now you can create these CandleGlance charts in a couple of different ways. You can either separate a list of symbols here in the symbol box with commas, or you can actually use our predefined groups. So lots of predefined groups that we have available to you here, even down into some of the major industry groups. But for instance, if you wanted to look at some of the sector ETFs in this kind of mini CandleGlance form, we've got a predefined group that makes it really easy to get there. So I'm going to give that a click. Now what we're looking at are the 11 S&P sectors plus the S&P 500 itself, all on the screen at once in this mini chart format. Makes it really easy to pull up these different groups and sort of get it at a quick glance, CandleGlance. You can breeze through a whole bunch of charts at once and sort of compare and contrast across symbols. Gallery view, we're looking at the same symbol. CandleGlance, we're looking at different symbols. You can delete anything off of here by hitting this little trash can icon. So if we wanted to remove the S&P 500, for instance, we could pull that off the screen just with that little trash can icon. And again, we can customize these charts. So my CandleGlance charts might look a little bit different from yours. I've customized my specific style. You can see that up here in this menu, I've got custom style. But we've also got other options. You can jump over to specific predefined ranges. You can actually add indicators right here. And again, you can customize your own CandleGlance style simply by going over to the SharpCharts workbench, creating a chart style that you want to use in CandleGlance, and then saving that with the name CandleGlance. Again, we've got our little note right here, so you can actually pull that up if you need a quick reminder of the instructions for how to customize these CandleGlance charts. Now, before we jump over to SharpCharts itself, I do want to remind everyone that as a member, you can create lists, chart lists, save all of your different symbols in there, whether it's watch lists, portfolios, market evaluation lists, anything that you want to save to a chart list. And we actually have built-in CandleGlance and GalleryView views for your chart lists. So we'll jump over to the dashboard really quick, and I'll show you how you can access that. We're going to jump down to our chart lists, and let's say we pull up a specific chart list. I'll do one of my stocking lists here. Now, the primary page that a lot of people view this in is either summary or 10 per page. But if you actually open up this view list as menu right here from your chart list views, you can see that you have gallery view and you also have CandleGlance. So what this allows you to do is take all of the symbols in a specific chart list and breeze through them using these specific views. So again, multiple charts up on the screen at once. Here in gallery view, you've got one symbol across multiple time frames, your intraday, daily, weekly, and down into the PNF as well. So we can see that kind of all in one place here with gallery view. We can click through this list simply by going from one chart to the next, or even select our specific chart here. We could jump down, for instance, to monolithic power. We can sort of bounce around in that list here in gallery view. So instead of having to go and type in a list of symbols or type in one specific symbol at a time, you can just create a list and breeze through it here in the gallery view for that chart list. You have the same option here with the CandleGlance view. you can take a chart list and view all the symbols in that list in this mini chart format. Makes it really easy, especially when you're running a scan. You take that scan, you get all the results back from it, maybe scanning for new highs or specific breakouts, something like that. You can take that scan, take those results, store it in a chart list, and then breeze through those results here in the CandleGlance view. Makes it really easy. Again, with that little delete button, this will actually delete it from the chart list in this case. So it makes it really easy to sweep scan results here by creating a chart list and then using that CandleGlance view to filter it down. So I know we've run through a ton so far here with CandleGlance and GalleryView, but now what we're going to do is actually jump over to the SharpCharts workbench, and we're going to show you how to create really advanced, very, very powerful sharp charts with multiple symbols on a single chart. One of my favorite tricks, something that I use every single day in the SharpCharts workbench. So we're going to go up to the top of the page, and we're actually going to type in SPY. We're going to pull up the S&P 500. And now this is my daily chart, but I'm going to actually change this to be a very stripped out candles only view, just to make this example really nice and easy to follow. So what we're looking at right now is 1 year of the S&P 500. We're looking at SPY, that tracks the S&P 500, and just a candle only view, just a very basic view. Let's say we wanted to create a chart that has the mega caps, the S&P 100, large caps, the S&P 500, mid caps, the S&P 400, and maybe small caps, the S&P 600. Let's say we wanted to see all of those in one place on a single chart. Well, we can actually create a sharp chart that does that in one chart. A very, very powerful, very cool trick, especially for some of these market evaluation things when you're comparing different indexes. Maybe you want to compare the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, or the NYSE or the Russell, anything that you want to put on a chart. You can actually build up these very advanced views with multiple charts in one chart. Like I said, a little bit of chartception. So we're going to build this up in real time. Let's say we wanted those 4 indexes, the S&P 100, S&P 500, S&P 400, and S&P 600. We're going to put those all on one chart. All you've got to do is use the price indicator. So you come down to the bottom of the chart. In the indicators section, you can open this up, and I'm actually going to search for price. So you can find the price indicator. And what the price indicator allows you to do is add price of another symbol to your chart. You can use this to create relative strength lines, for instance, anything on the chart versus the S&P 500, something like that. But you can also use this to create additional charts within the chart that you're looking at. So it loads here in the parameters box with SPX. We're going to actually change that to be OEF, which is the S&P 100 tracking ETF. Now we're going to open up the advanced options here. We're going to set some of the style options. So we're going to change this to be candlesticks. We've got a candlesticks chart up here. We'll change this one to be candlesticks as well. We're going to leave color alone. We could set that to auto or choose a specific color, but in this case, we'll just set it to auto. And then height. Now, height is an interesting one. We've talked about this on the show quite a lot. When you set this to auto, we're just going to sort of automatically do a nice height for that indicator panel. This applies not just to the price indicator, but also to any indicator that you add to your sharp charts, actually. But you have a bunch of options in here. I personally like to use 0.5, or you can use 1.0, but any value that you choose, all of these height values are relative to the height of the actual main price panel. So in this case, what we're looking at is the main price panel. That's all we have on this chart. And so if we set a height option of 1.0, that means that the height of this indicator panel that we're adding here to this chart is going to be 1.0. It's going to be the exact same height as the main price panel. So I'm going to actually set this as 1.0. And we're not going to mess with overlays for now, but you do actually have some pretty clever options in here. You can actually add overlays to indicators. So especially when you're creating these views. In just a minute, we'll actually show you how to add some moving averages, for instance, to this chart. But you do have that option to add overlays to your specific indicators. So we'll do this kind of one at a time. I've added the price indicator. I've set OEF as the symbol in the parameters box. I've chose a specific style, in this case, candlesticks, and we've set our height to be 1.0. Now, I'm also going to make one other change, which is the position. I'm actually going to position this one above. So we're going to set this chart up with the S&P 100, 500, 400, and 600. So we go from mega to large to mid to small caps. So I'm going to position this above, and I'm going to hit update on this one so we can see how this is starting to look. So we've got our, oops, this got reset when we changed our position. I'm going to set that back to 1.0. Here we go. So we've now added this price indicator for the S&P 100, and that shows up as candlesticks like we set above the chart at a height of 1.0. So it's actually equal to the price panel down below. So we've now got two charts on one chart. And we can do this again. We can do this multiple times. So we're going to come down here. We're going to set price, and we're going to change this to MDY. That is the S&P 400 mid-cap ETF. We're going to leave the position as below, set this to candlesticks. We'll change our color to auto, set that as a height of 1.0. And then we'll actually come down here, and to do it all in one go, we are also going to add SLY, which is the S&P 600 small cap ETF. Going to change that to candlesticks, going to set this to auto, and of course, we're going to set our height as 1.0. So take a look at the settings. What we're going to actually do now is create a single chart that has 4 charts within it. When I hit update, you'll see exactly how this looks. We now have the S&P 100 up top, the mega cap index. We have the S&P 500 next up below that. Then we have the S&P 400, the mid cap index, right below that, and the S&P small cap index right below that. So we've now got 4 charts on this screen all at once. Now we're going to do one other important thing with this chart. We're actually going to come down, and you might notice that I've got log scale set on here for the main price panel. So the S&P 500 is actually on a logarithmic scale. We might want to apply that to our other price panels as well. So what we can do is simply come into the parameters box, type a little comma, and then hit log, enter log. I'm actually going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it across these other ones, comma, log. Now what that's going to tell the SharpCharts workbench is, hey, I want this price indicator for this specific symbol, and I want that in logarithmic scale. So when we hit update, we're going to get those additional charts in log scale as well. So here we go. We've now got our 4 charts on this one view. We've got our log scales set. We've got everything looking pretty. So that's how we can actually take a single Sharp chart and put multiple charts within it. Now we can go nuts with this. For instance, this is, like I mentioned, something that I use every single day. If you're watching this on YouTube, we're actually going to post a link down in the description below to one of my weekly market evaluation lists, something that we've shared on the show quite a lot in the past. But that'll actually get you started with some of these kind of advanced multi-symbol Sharp charts. You can take a look at that. You can pull that up. You can also save that list to your account with the little green button in the top right corner. So check for that, that link in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube, and we'll actually give you that as well. But this makes it really easy to create these advanced views. And we can even start to do some fun stuff. Like we said, we're going to show you how to add moving averages, for instance. Let's say we wanted to add a 50-period moving average. I actually like to make my 50 periods red, so we're going to set that specifically. We can now come down to these price indicators, and we can also add that same simple moving average to these different price panels. So we can do 50 in the parameters box, and actually set the color here in the parameters box. When you add an overlay to an indicator, all you got to do is do a colon and then specify whatever color you want. So we can do 50 colon red. We'll do that a couple times over here to set that up for, not 550, we want 50. And then for our S&P 600, we want the same thing. So we can actually add overlays to these charts as well to start to create some really powerful views. I'm going to hit update. And what you'll see now is we've got a 50-period moving average on that S&P 100 panel. We've got a 50-period moving average on that S&P 500 panel, and the same goes for the S&P 400 and the S&P 600. So using this trick, using these price indicators, we can really start to get pretty fancy. Now, one other fun thing that we can do before we jump over to ACP, we can also change this to performance. So if we wanted to compare not just the specific price moves, but also compare the performance of these different indexes, for instance, maybe we want to look at a year-to-date chart and compare how the different indexes have been moving. In this case, we're going to stick with our 1-year chart, but we're going to change the scale to be a percentage scale, performance scale, instead of being absolute values. So we come up here, we change our chart type to performance, and we actually come down here and we change the indicator to price-performance. So that's going to change the scale of these. So we'll change all three of these. Now, some of the settings do reset, but we can specify anything that we want here. If we wanted to change the style to maybe a solid line, something like that. Our overlays have reset, so we'll actually go ahead and take this off. And now, when I hit update, what we've got is that same chart, S&P 100, 500, 400, and 600, but each of these is actually in a percentage scale. So we can look back over the last 1 year. We can see small caps up 58%. We can see mid caps up 48%. We can see the S&P 500, large caps up 38%. We can see the S&P 100 up also about 38%. There on the percentage scale. So again, we can start to create some pretty advanced views here in SharpCharts using these different price and price performance options that we have available to us down there in the indicator settings. So I know we've covered a ton here so far, but now we're actually going to jump over to ACP. We're going to take a look at some of these multi-chart concepts over in that platform as well. Of course, ACP, our interactive advanced charting platform, brand new and so much included there all in one place. So instead of having sort of different tools, what we're doing with ACP is really trying to bring everything into one place for you. So you've got your market data, you've got your lists, you've got scans. You can actually run advanced charts, multi-chart layouts, up to 12 charts on the screen at once. Lots that you can do with ACP. I will mention, if you are new to ACP, you can actually visit stockcharts.com/features/ACP. Hit enter there. And this is kind of our informational page about what StockChartsACP is. So there's some fun stuff to breeze through here. You can always come and check out this page to learn more about ACP. But we're going to jump over there right now and take a look at some of these powerful multi-chart concepts in that new interactive advanced charting platform, StockChartsACP. To do that, we're actually going to come up to the top of this page. We're just going to open up the ACP menu, and we are going to type in SPY to get right over there. So here we are. We've launched ACP, and we're looking at something very, very similar. We've got our very stripped out SPY chart, just the basic candlesticks, nothing else. Now, we've got a whole bunch of different options to recreate some of these concepts that we've been talking about in the SharpCharts world. Of course, we've got our chart settings panel open on the left side of the screen, and we could do the same thing. We're not going to repeat that right now, but we could actually add those price or price performance indicators. Here in the Add Indicator menu, you can always scroll down, find those in the list, or search for them with the search box up top. But we've got the same indicators, price and price performance. So you can do those same tricks. Actually, if you want to create an ACP chart with those sort of multiple charts, multiple symbols all in one single chart, you can do that with the same tricks, adding that price and price performance indicator, setting it to whatever symbol you want to add to your chart. But here in ACP, we actually have the ability to create advanced multi-chart layouts with up to 12 charts on the screen at once. So instead of going through this process by adding the price performance indicators or price performance, we're actually going to show you how to create these multi-chart layouts. We'll take that same concept. Let's say we want to have the S&P 100, 500, 400, and 600 up on the screen. Well, we've got a couple of different options for how to do this. Up here at the top of the screen, we've got our symbol entry box, and there's a little plus sign. When we hit that plus sign, that's actually going to add another chart to the screen. So let's say we wanted 4 charts on the screen. Well, all we have to do, hit this little plus icon a couple of times, and you'll see that every time I give that a click, I add another chart to the screen. Now what I can come do is actually come up to this box and type in a list of ticker symbols that I want to see in this layout separated by commas. So in this case, we want the S&P 100, OEF, we want the S&P 500, SPY, the S&P 400, MDY, and then SLY, which is the S&P 600. So we type in that list of ticker symbols, we separate everything with a comma, we hit enter. Now we're in business. We've got 4 full featured charts up on the screen, very similar to the concept that we were creating in SharpCharts, but here it's even more powerful because each of these is its own advanced chart. We can come in here, we can add indicators, we can change settings, change color schemes, anything that we want to do, anything that we can imagine doing with any of these ACP charts as a single chart, we can do even in these multi-chart layouts. Now there's some cool features in here too. For instance, let's say you've got this view and you want to zoom in on something maybe blow up the chart of the S&P 100, add some indicators, or scroll around, see how specific candlesticks look, you can actually just look for this little arrows button, give that a click. That's going to expand the chart to take over the full space of the screen. And you can do anything that you want with this chart now. For instance, if you wanted to add indicators, if you wanted to zoom in on a specific piece of it, for instance, see how the latest bar, the latest candlestick is looking, you can do all of that with this sort of full expanded view of that chart. When you're ready to get back to your layout, you got two options up here in the top right corner, or with that same button that you clicked before, you can just shrink that chart back down, and there we go. We're back in business with our multi-chart layout. So pretty powerful what you can do here in ACP. And like I mentioned, you can create these layouts with up to 12 charts on the screen. Now, this is actually how we can start to bring in some of those concepts like gallery view, where we're taking one symbol and looking at that with multiple sort of time frames up on the screen. Or we can create CandleGlance. We can have up to 12 charts on the screen, again, with little mini charts for different symbols, and we can start to flip through specific lists, specific groups, maybe chart lists, maybe watch lists, portfolios, anything that we want. We can actually create those here in ACP. So we'll take a look at how to do some of those things right now. Over here on the left side of the screen, we're going to open up the layouts menu. This is how you can really add more control to your layout experience. You do have those options up at the top, of course, for sort of quick creation. If you want to create layouts really quickly, just add a couple of charts to the screen. You can always use those tricks that we were talking about before. But you can also come over on the left side of the screen and open up this layouts menu. Now, we'll collapse a couple of these groups. We do have the Your Layout section and the Sample Layout section, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But here, you can see this Create Layout section. That's the important one that gives you tons and tons of control over these layouts that you create in ACP. Very simple to use. All you have to do in this Create Layout section is select the number of charts that you want to see on the screen. Again, up to 12 charts. You select any number that you want to see. For instance, let's say we wanted to create a 6-chart layout. We select that number of charts, and then we're given a whole bunch of different options for layouts that we can pull into ACP. All we've got to do to create any of these is give them a click. So maybe we want 6 equal charts in sort of a vertical orientation or a horizontal orientation, we can do that. Or if we wanted to do 4 mini charts kind of stacked on top of each other with 2 larger charts on the side of the screen, we can create any of these that we want to see. So it's really easy to start building these in. You could do, for instance, the 4 charts that we have right here are S&P 100, 500, 400, and 600. We could then maybe add a comparative performance chart here, and then maybe dig into some other indexes that we want to see down in this bottom one. So you can really start to get creative with these layouts. Now, you do have a couple of options down below as well. We're going to talk about symbol sync in just a sec, because that's how we're actually going to create these gallery view options. But the other ones you have that are handy are some of the apply to all options. We've got these checkboxes right here for you. It makes it really easy to set these. Any change that you make to a color scheme, if you want that applied to all the charts on the screen, just make sure that that checkbox is checked. If you want a specific chart style applied to all the charts on the screen, if you want to apply something in sort of one swift move, you can make sure that that chart styles checkbox is checked here under apply to all. Or if you want the range applied to all the charts on the screen, for instance, if you want to click 1 year and have all the charts change to be a 1-year chart, you can make sure that that checkbox is checked right there. We also have duplicates of those little checkboxes in the place that you're actually going to make those actions. So when you open up the range menu, for instance, you've got an apply to all checkbox, which makes it really easy to set these to, let's say, year to date. Now we've got all these set to year to date charts. Maybe we want 1 month. Now we're looking at a much shorter time frame. We've got 1 month charts for all of those. And all that we have to do is make sure that that checkbox for apply to all is checked. The same goes over here on the right side of the screen for chart styles. You've got that same checkbox duplicated right there, as well as for color schemes duplicated right there. So it makes it really easy to access those. But a couple of different options that you do have available to you. Let's get this back to a 1-year view. Now, lots to cover with layouts. There's so much power here. And so as a sort of a helpful way to get you started, what we've actually done to make it really easy is we've created a whole bunch of sample layouts. The important thing too is that we've brought some of those concepts in with the sample layouts. So GalleryView and CandleGlance represented right here. So let's talk about CandleGlance here first. CandleGlance, again, allows you to view multiple charts for different symbols on the screen at once in kind of this mini chart format. So for instance, if you wanted to create one of those views, all you've got to do, come over to this sample layouts section, open up that CandleGlance sample layout, and there you go. Now you've got 12 charts on the screen all at once. Again, we can start to fill in lists of ticker symbols up here in the symbol entry box separated by commas, but we can also go over to our chart lists and pull a list of symbols from a chart list or from scan results right into a layout like this. We'll show you that in just a second. So CandleGlance is one of the options you do have available to you here in this sample layout. And this is really intended to be a starting place. All of these sample layouts are. We've got fun ones down here for different, major market indexes. There's an intermarket one based on John Murphy's approach that I use a ton. That's a really fun one to play with. Again, things like the sector ETFs and things like that. We've got lots of sample layouts for you to play around with. But these up here, these multi-chart views are really intended to be kind of a starting place for you. So once you pull one of these up, you can customize any of these charts, any of these layouts with your own indicators, your own settings, your own color schemes, anything that you want to see. And of course, you can also save those layouts. We'll talk about that also in just a minute. You can save those to your own account, though, come back to them in the future. And you can also choose to save them with or without symbols. We'll cover that in a sec. Now, we also have the same concept with gallery view. So again, gallery view, you're taking one symbol and viewing that across multiple time frames. So in this case, we're going to open up that gallery view chart. Now, we do have a couple of different symbols across the screen right now, but let's say we wanted Adobe in all of these. So I'll actually cheat a little bit here and just type in Adobe 4 times. That's going to load up all of these charts here with the same symbol. Now, what we're looking at in this sort of predefined sample layout for gallery view, again, we've got our 1-minute chart, our intraday chart. We've got a daily chart right here, a weekly chart in the lower left, and a monthly chart actually in the lower right. So we've got 4 different time frames across a single symbol. Now, again, all of these are intended to just be kind of starters for you. You can go in here and actually create your own custom gallery view with the settings that you want to see, the daily, the intraday, the weekly, the monthly charts that you want to see up on the screen. But the key to making this fly is that symbol sync option that we talked about before. So when you turn on symbol sync, any symbol on the screen, any chart on the screen that has the same symbol as the active chart, which is indicated by this little green border, is going to change when you change one symbol. So it's kind of a funny thing to explain, but when you see it in practice, it makes a ton of sense. Because I've turned on symbol sync and all 4 of these charts have Adobe as their symbol, anytime I change the symbol, it's going to change all of the Adobe charts as well. So when I type in, for instance, Microsoft, because I've got symbol sync turned on, all of these change at once. So again, when we think about that gallery view concept that we were looking at in the SharpCharts world, we can sort of recreate that here in ACP by turning on symbol sync, putting our 4 charts up on the screen, or really any number that you want. If you want just 3 charts, if you just want the intraday, the daily, and the weekly, maybe you want the daily, the weekly, and the monthly, you can really do anything that you want. Maybe you want daily charts across a couple of different time frames. You want, a 1-year daily, a 2-year daily, and a 3-year daily, something like that. You can really get creative with some of these multi-chart layouts in ACP. But to make that gallery view concept really fly, again, all you have to do is turn on that symbol sync, and you can use this sample layout for gallery view as a starter. Now, like I mentioned, you do have the option to save your custom layout. So let's say you came in here, you started with this gallery view from the sample layout, but you customized all these charts, you changed all your settings, and you want to save that now as your own gallery view. Super easy. All you've got to do is come down to the bottom of this panel, click Save Layout. And like I mentioned, you've got a couple of different options in here. You can set a name for that layout and choose whether or not you want to save symbols to it. So there are some layouts that you might want to keep as just kind of a template for any symbol. There are other layouts, maybe some market evaluation kind of things. You want specific symbols saved to a specific layout. So you do have that option. You enter in a name and choose whether or not you want the symbols saved to that layout. This is also how you update an existing layout. So if you make changes to it over time, all you've got to do is click that Save button at the bottom, tab over here to Update Existing, and you can actually select the layout that you want to update. So it's super easy to manage these. Of course, those show up in that group that I closed down at the start, the Your Layouts menu. So you've got those actually broken up into two different groups here, without symbols and with symbols, a couple of different options for you. But all of your saved layouts show up right here. Super easy to edit, super easy to pull up. So for instance, we could pull up my gallery view, we could pull up my CandleGlance. I've got a whole bunch in here for different market evaluation groups, like I mentioned. So, here's a fun one for, let's say, new Dow theory. We can pull that in. And what we're looking at now is a new Dow theory layout with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, and then a little bit of a comparison between those. So with these multi-chart layouts in ACP, you really can start to get pretty fancy. Now we're going to jump back over to a CandleGlance view. We're going to pull up a custom CandleGlance view that I've created, which is going to look pretty similar to the one that we were looking at in the SharpCharts world, a similar chart style. And in this case, I've actually got 9 charts on the screen instead of 12. But what I want to show you before we wrap up today's show is how you can actually use these layouts and your lists together. CandleGlance can really fly when you do this. So I'm going to turn off symbol sync, and I'm actually going to shut down the layouts panel. And over here on the right, I'm going to open up our chart list panel. So here in ACP, you do have access to your chart lists either right here from the sidebar on the right side of the screen, or via the drawer that opens up from the bottom of the screen. So a couple of different ways to actually engage with your chart lists. But there's a little bit of interface in here for making CandleGlance really fly. So again, think about what we have. We've got our 9 charts up on the screen. Let's say I run a scan and I put those into a list here in ACP, which is actually exactly what I've done here. I've got new all-time highs in the S&P 1500. And I want to take this list of symbols and I want to pull these in to this layout without having to manually add each chart to the layout, type in ticker symbols and all of that. So it's really easy to do that. All you have to do is make sure you've got this load symbol only checkbox checked. What that tells us is that when you click something from here, we're not going to pull in the saved style with it, the saved chart style underneath that save symbol. We're only going to take the symbol and load it into whatever the chart style on the screen is. So you want to make sure that you've got that checked. And from there, you're going to look for that little layouts icon here, which looks very similar to the layouts menu from the left side of the screen. We turn that on, which turns on the multi-chart view mode. And from there, all we have to do is give this a click. So when we pull that in, I've got 9 charts up on the screen. And so ACP is automatically going to pull in the first 9 charts in this list. We're going to load those in there. And you can now just start to flip through this list by clicking these little buttons. So if you want to flip through an entire list of stocks in a layout, just like we were doing in CandleGlance outside in the SharpCharts world, it's really easy to do that here in ACP for a specific chart list. Makes it really easy to breeze through lists, whether it's your watch list, your portfolio, maybe it's scan results. Again, you can take that concept of running a scan, putting the results into a chart list, and starting to breeze through the lists here. Now, of course, you also have the little action button. So if you wanted to delete anything from one of these lists, you can just open that up, hit delete charts. Really easy to delete those items from a list. If you are, for instance, sweeping scan results, that's a great use case for this. But makes it really easy, again, to use these multi-chart layout features in ACP to recreate some of those concepts we were talking about outside of ACP back in the SharpCharts world. I will mention, too, for all of you Sharp charters who are looking at ACP and thinking, wow, this is pretty cool, I might want to give this a shot. All of your SharpCharts chart lists are actually available to you right here in this panel. So we can pull in sort of replicas, if you will, of your SharpCharts here in ACP. You have actually access to all of your different SharpCharts lists right here. You just got to tab over to it. And you've got some of the same functionality. So if you want to sort of have things running in the SharpCharts world, but you want to jump over to ACP, use some of these features, you've got those same, multi-chart layout and the load symbol only features, all of those available for your SharpCharts lists as well. So a really nice way to sort of get set up over in ACP. I actually find that I use both platforms a ton. I love having different features of the different platforms. There are things that SharpCharts does incredibly well, things that ACP has that are just so fun, so advanced. So both platforms together a really, really powerful combination, especially when you think about some, bringing your SharpCharts lists into ACP with some of these features, that kind of thing. It makes it really easy to get up and running in ACP very quickly. So I know we covered a ton on today's show, really a whirlwind tour. We didn't dive super, super deep into to any one of these, but like I mentioned, In the description down below, if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll actually put links to some of the other shows that we've done on some of these topics, show you how some of these features work. A little bit of a deep dive into CandleGlance, a little bit of a deep dive into GalleryView, things like that. But hopefully this has given you a great sense of how these different features around the site all work, what you have available to you, how you can create these multi-chart views in SharpCharts, in ACP, CandleGlance, GalleryView. Take those concepts in either platform, in either world. You can really make this this multi-chart experience really fly for you. So lots that we covered here today. Again, we're going to cover all these topics on additional episodes of StockCharts in Focus. Of course, that's our mission here on this show, is really to help you see more, explore more, see parts of the site that you haven't seen before, explore features and tools that you haven't seen before, all that good stuff. So more to come on all of these multi-chart views, I am sure. We'll talk about more of this stuff on future editions of StockCharts in Focus. But hopefully this has given you some fun things to play around with in the weeks and months ahead. Again, I want to remind you that we do this show every Friday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on StockCharts TV, also up on our YouTube channel after that, and the new on-demand platform at StockChartsTV.com. Lots of different ways to watch. You can stream across all your different devices. You can access from your mobile phone, your tablet, your laptop, your desktop, wherever you are. You can watch StockCharts TV. Tune into all the great content that we have. So many things happening. Definitely check out that StockChartsTV.com on-demand platform if you haven't already. But hopefully I will see you back here for another episode of StockCharts in Focus very soon. Again, my name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. I will see you again soon for the next one. And until then, chart on, my friends.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.